Welcome to today's math lesson on identifying functions from points, also called ordered pairs and graphs. Our do now is triangle A, B, C is shown on the coordinate grid. What is the slope of line A to B? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my change in Y over my change in X. And so I'm trying to find the slope of this line right here. And so to find my change in Y, I'm finding the distance from A to this line right here, which is at 5. So the change in Y is going to be from 7 to 5. We went down 2. So the change is 2, and since we went down, it's negative. So our change in Y is going to be negative 2. And then our change in X is how many units we moved to the right, and that was 1, 2, 3. We moved over 3 units to the right. So our slope for this line AB is going to be negative 2 over 3. The other way we could have solved it is writing out the coordinates of A and B. So the coordinate of A is 3, 7. The coordinate of B is 6, 5. And we're using the slope equation or formula, which is M is equal to Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So now we're going to label our points 3, 7 and 6, 5. So I'm just going to say that 3, 7 is X1 and Y1. And 6, 5 is going to be X2, Y2. So when I plug in the appropriate numbers to Y2 minus Y1, I get 5 minus 7 over X2 is 6 minus 3. And then 5 minus 7 is negative 2. And then 6 minus 3 is 3. So as you can see, using either method, we still got that the slope of line A to B is negative 2 over 3. Today's TEK is 8.5G, and our lesson target is that scholars will identify functions using ordered pairs and graphs, and our deal well is that given 4 problems, scholars will identify functions using ordered pairs and graphs with 100% accuracy. We have some academic vocabulary words for today: function, input, linear function, nonlinear function, and output. So input is basically what we're putting into the equation. It's our x value. And output is what we get out of the equation once we solve for it. So that's going to be our y value. A linear function, when graphed, it's similar to a linear equation. It will make a straight line. And a non-linear function, when graphed, will not make a straight line. In a function, or to tell if something is a function, there has to be only one output or one y value for every input, every x value. Each point on a graph represents an ordered pair, also called a coordinate. The first coordinate in each ordered pair is the input value, so the x value is our input, and the second coordinate is the output value, or our y coordinate, our y value. And the graph represents a function if each input value is paired with only one output value. This is very similar to yesterday, where when we were looking at mapping diagrams and tables, we needed to identify whether there were multiple outputs for the same input. And so in this case, this graph right here shows a function because for every x value, there's only one y value. This first I do problem reads, the graph shows the relationship between the number of hours students spend studying for an exam and the exam grades. Is the relationship represented by the graph a function? So if we look at this graph, I can see that there's multiple outputs or multiple y values for the same input when the input is 2 and when the input is 9. So this relationship is not a function. This next I do problem reads, the ordered pair shows a relationship between the number of hours students spent studying for an exam and the exam grades. So in this case, we're given coordinates for the same situation. Is the relationship represented by the ordered pairs a function? So the input values are the number of hours spent studying by each student, basically saying the x values or the independent variable is the number of hours, and the output values or the y values, the dependent variable is the exam grades. So we have 1,70, 2,70, 2,85, 3,75, 5,80, 6,82, 7,88, 9,90, 9,95, and 12,98. So this is very similar to yesterday when we had to identify from tables whether that relationship was a function or not. So I can see that there are two different outputs for the same input. So there's two different y values for the same x value. So 2,70 and 2,85. And so that would, as well as 9,90 and 9,95. So that would make this relationship not a function. Now you all will have to do your DOL. So it's 4 problems in Google Forms. Thank you so much for following along and paying attention to today's lesson, and see you in the next math video.